Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do my conversion story. It's so important to share this because first of all, everyone in my hometown is probably wondering how I became a Muslim. And two, just because I know that when I was converting, it was so comforting and amazing to watch other people go through the same thing that I was currently going through. So to get started, I grew up in a very small town. Very little, very close-minded people. They went to church on Sunday, but whatever they did during the rest of the week was whatever they wanted. And I grew up in a very religious family. Everyone was pretty on board with it. You know, everyone, grandma, grandpa, everybody. And I grew up in the church every day, and I loved it. Up until like middle school, I was totally in love with it, and I did everything you could think of in the church. Wednesday, Sunday, I was close with the pastor and the assistant pastor's family, everybody. My parents were in it too. And when I got to middle school, I think it was a mix of puberty and just boredom. I was kind of over the church thing. And I started to grow up, and the emptiness inside me just built and built and built and built until high school, when I would do anything. I had clothes, I had cars, I had everything that I really wanted, and it was still there. So by the time I graduated and I was 18 years old and I had my own house, which I'm living in still, I have a car, I had a job, I had money, and a dog. I had everything. Everything you could think of, which made me happy for a little bit of time, but it was like every night I would still pray, so it was still like I knew there was a God and all that, but I wanted something more, and I was praying for a man, of course, because that's what any high school age woman wants, is attention from a man. And I prayed for someone to make me better, and he answered my prayers that year. I was 18, it was November, and I met someone online, and it was so weird. This has never happened to me before. I fell head over heels in love with him, and he actually fell head over heels in love with me, which was the first. And we clicked in every single little thing. It was amazing. Like, we loved each other within the first week, and we were talking about marriage by like month 3. It was intense, and it was still intense. We still love each other, but we continued our relationship for months and months, and he was a Muslim man, and I knew that from the beginning that he was. And I was always very curious about it. I always asked questions, but he was not very open with me about it. Whatever, he probably just didn't want to scare me away. But as the months went on and I became more open with him, I discovered that I was still yearning for something. I still wanted something. I still had that emptiness in my soul, and now I even had a boyfriend, and nothing was solving it. Like, I even had a guy, a great guy, nothing wrong with him, and I still wanted something else. And I began, by just locking myself in my bedroom and researching everything. And there was a week, a month really, that my parents were out of town, my boyfriend was out of town, and I didn't really have anything to do. I didn't have a job at the time, so I locked myself in my room and I researched, and I just looked stuff up. Every single religion, Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, like every single little thing, and just researched to make sure, that I didn't believe in it, because you can't inherit your religion. You have to discover it on your own, or else it's not yours. And so I found Islam, and I started to research it, and I wasn't a hater of it before. I never would like say anything bad about a Muslim, but I didn't know anything about it before. No one ever spoke to me about it. No one ever brought it up, which was sad. Now that I look back on it, it's very sad that no one even talks about it. But I started, and as soon as I started researching, it pulled my heart. Like, let me tell you, I locked myself in my room every single day. That's all I wanted to do, was look up YouTube videos and Wikipedia pages, forums, anything that I could get my hands on, books, anything. I was addicted to it, and it pulled my heart, which is one thing that is so hard to describe in words, and I immediately decided that I wanted to become a Muslim right there, but I wanted to take more time. So in the months after, my parents were gone, obviously, so I didn't tell them until later, and I opened up finally to my boyfriend about it, and after everything, like, it was really intense, my love for the religion already, and I was now researching it, and two of the biggest things, well, one of the biggest things that really struck me, that made me realize how real it was that I dropped all my bad habits. All of them. Like, I was smoking, drinking, I was doing it all. I was a teenager. I was 18 years old, living on my own. And I stopped everything dead in its tracks. Nothing. I didn't do it. And I dressed modestly. I didn't put the scarf on until a little bit later, but I immediately stopped, and I didn't want to do it anymore. And that was amazing. That felt so good, and it was like, this is really happening. And he helped me so much with my heart and realizing, this is what you really want. Here you go. And he would send me little signs all the time. Like, for instance, one night, me and my man, we were watching a YouTube lecture that was like an hour long, and the guy was like, okay, pick a random verse in the Quran, and it was the only verse that I had bookmarked in mine, and it was the only one, and I never remember anything, and I remembered that verse, and when he said it, I was like, no way. It was just like little stuff like that was just thrown at me, and I was like, oh. I just felt God. I felt him all the time. He worked on my heart. He personally came to me, and whenever I talk about Islam, I would shake, I would cry. It was insane. It was so insane, and I just felt such a pull toward it. So I continued on, and I said my Shahada with a religious leader, and I did everything that I had to do, and I'm learning how to pray right now, but I'm still learning, and it's just been an amazing journey. It's still not over yet, but I gave up everything. You know, I really separated myself from the negative people in my life, and I separated every bad thing that I was doing out of my life, and I also, you know, I left the guy that I was with just because it's not okay to not be in a relationship, and we were not in a relationship. I mean, we were not married, so it was against the rules of Islam, and God helps me with that every day, because it's so hard, because he was really the change in my life. The big 360 was like totally on him, so he was a huge part, and it's been really hard being away from him, but God helps me with it every day. It's amazing. So I don't know what to say. It is indescribable. I highly recommend that anyone who feels that emptiness in them to look into religion. Look into everything, because you never know what you're gonna believe. You never know what your heart really wants until you research and look into things. And just because, you know, Muslims in America right now are not exactly what you want to be, but I believe in everything in Islam, and it's right, and it's peaceful, and it's perfect, and that's what I believe. And it doesn't matter what other people think, because they don't understand. And there are so many misconceptions like that in religion. I will personally help anyone who has a problem. If you want to comment, message me, whatever, I will help you. It doesn't even have to be about Islam. I'll help you with your journeys and with your depression, because I know how horrible it can feel to feel that emptiness all the time. You know, it's something you can't really talk to anyone about, because it's just like, you know, I have everything. Or even if you don't have everything, you know, I have a great life, but I'm missing something. And that's so real, and I just hope that everyone in the world can find their peace and their happiness like I did, and be a better person, because that's what you really want to do. No matter what, you want to be a better person. I hope this video helped you. I hope it enlightened you, and I hope it answered some of your questions. Thank you so much for watching, and